Good morning. Welcome. Today's training for your GoodX Web. Today's training for your Okay, you just had a problem with the sound. Just see if we could sort it out. Okay, again, welcome. I'm Pierre. I will be doing your webinar training for today. Can you hear us? Okay, I will be going on from there. Feel free to introduce yourself during the course of the day. If there's any questions, please ask your questions in the live chat, and we will see if we can answer them as quickly as possible or later when we do the Q&A. We will start with the official training in a few minutes. The training will be more or less until 4 o'clock, and we will have a lunch break between 12 and 12:30. Okay, let's see. Just want to make sure you are hearing me. Okay, let's go on. Just a quick introduction to GoodX. So quickly just going to explain to you where we're coming from and how we're going to use the system and the practice management of it and the learning center and a few other options. So first of all, introduction to GoodX, history of the GoodX software. GoodX has been there for almost 50 years. We started as a corporate financial system and moved over into the medical side for the last 20 odd years. We cover anything from a GP, physio, dentist, straight through to hospitals, subacutes, and day clinics. So we have a very big database in that sense, and we can service a lot of different clients in the end of the day. So depending on your discipline, the system will have something for you to work with. So then we are going to look at the practice management, the big picture, and we look at the diary medical data management. If you look at this wheel in front of you at this stage, we start at a specific point, and it starts usually with the appointments, and we work through this until the end, up to reports. Everything that happens in your practice, there's a logical flow. It starts with an appointment, and as the patient is involved, the process will work according to this. So this is how we also will schedule the training today, and making sure that you understand that we start at a specific point, and everything that happens with the patient we're going to cover and see how you fit into this whole picture. Even if you're just reception, you need to understand how important appointments will be. If you're a doctor, you will be using the clinical information or the billing, or the admin lady will do the billing, or even reception. Anything that happens from there, from the claims that went to will go through to the medical aid, the receipts when payment is made by the patient or the medical aid, up to the debt management, where we need to make sure the account is zero. The account is everything we work to. At the end of the day, we want to make sure everything is paid and the doctor is receiving his money, either from the patient or the medical aid, ending then the whole process of reports. And that's why we talk about the full practice management. It starts with an appointment, and everything flows through up to the end, where we generate a final account at zero, and all money is being captured from the medical aid or the patient, and we generate reports for the doctor or for the auditors, accountants, bookkeepers, so that we can see if the doctor's actually making money in the end of the day. If he doesn't have money, he can't run his practice. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to use the Learning Center. The Learning Center is for us your manual. It's an online manual and information database. Anything you need to see about GoodX, you most probably will find here, if not talking to your FCL at the end of the day. And I will discuss the FCL a bit later again, what that is and what it means. First, we will look at the Learning Center. So you will have a link to the Learning Center, and that will be a website. So you will go into learning.goodx.co.za. You must use your username and password to log in. You already have received that from Melania or Jeline from GoodX in an email. Please make sure you have that information so you can log into the Learning Center. Here we will have all the necessary manuals that you can go and look at, also even video clips that will show you the process in a YouTube video of specific functions. So please make sure you can get to this as quickly as possible. If not, contact GoodX, your FCL, your first client liaison as we call it. So it's basically our support line. It's the consultant you will be dealing with. Make sure you can get to your Learning Center. From here you will have links to your web manual, and from there you can access it, either links to see it on the page in text and pictures what you need to do, or otherwise just click on the web tutorial and it will show an actual YouTube video on how to access the system then from there. If you log in, you will see the Learning Center, manuals and practice guidelines. The top part will have the medical and dental practices, and then underneath this you will have your GoodX Web and all the other possible manuals you will find straight through from hospitals, credit control, switching, and management and supervisor to IT and technical requirement at the back. What we will be dealing today with is the GoodX Web, and you will look at the medical and dental manual. To access any of these manuals, you need to click on it. So you will be clicking on that medical and dental book. You will see it's highlighted, and then it will change to a little arrow, a hand, pointing finger, and when you click on it, it should open up that actual web page. And then you will see GoodX Web for medical dental practices, and you will see our logical flow here, diary and medical data management, the wheel that is important. And this is a whole training will be scheduled and structured around this process and around this wheel. From here you will see your GoodX Web tutorials. We'll get to that also a bit later, how to access your Learning Center, GoodX main overview, and here we'll see your login navigation, your appointments, diary, and as you click for instance on book new patient, it will open it up to that point, and the top part you most probably will find a web tutorial about this, and then you will see your images and steps on what you need to do and how the system will look like as you book a new patient. You're more than welcome to print this out piece by piece as you go along and work from that. Otherwise, just log in and look through the videos and through the page. If you want to go back to the front again, just click on home again. You're back on the home page, and then you can go again to your medical dental diary, and you can jump to the next point you want to view from there. Okay, so how do you request support? So if you look at the home page again, here a bit down, your how to request support. Let me just get that view for you. There it is. Help us to help you. help@goodx.co.za. That's your email address. Any request, any issues, anything you need to know or want to report, please send it to help@goodx.co.za. It's an email address. Once you mail it, you will receive an automatic reply from us with a ticket number. That ticket number is very important for any references in the future for your FCL. And as you log that ticket, help@goodx.co.za, it will be assigned to your FCL. Now, the FCL is your first client liaison. That's a specific person in GoodX that will be dealing with you. Every time you phone, every time you mail, you will get to that FCL. If that FCL is not available, then GoodX will assign someone else as quickly as possible to assist you. And that's it. Please make sure you log your help@goodx, your emails, your tickets, even after you've spoken to your FCL. we need proof of that conversation. We need proof of your request or your instructions, so we can make sure that FCL is actually assisting you as quickly as possible. And that way we can follow up and make sure our support is being given correctly and as quickly as possible to you in the end of the day. Okay, so that's the Learning Center. Please make sure you can access it. Also understand your FCL, First Client Liaison. Make sure you send a ticket to them, help@goodx.co.za. And please make sure every time you talk to the FCL that you have that ticket number afterwards. Lock that call in the sense of the instructions so we can know what's going on. And remember, you can also anytime phone your FCL if needed, but please make sure there is a ticket for this so that we can follow up and make sure that you get to the support that is necessary. Okay, if there's any questions on the Learning Center, please let us know. If you do not have these details to log in, please get it as quickly as possible from GoodX so that you can make sure you can access this, so that you know how GoodX will be working and you'll get to your online manuals from there. Okay, now we will start going into the system. I'm going to show you how to log into the actual web system, and also there's another username and password here, so please also make sure you will have your password and username for your web system, and there's obviously a username and password for the Learning Center. So please do not get confused between the two, and make sure you do have both to get to the system as quickly as possible. Okay, GoodX Web, you will have your website. It's also a URL with a specific name for your practice. That will start with the practice name or something of the doctor's name, depending on how it's registered at GoodX, with .goodx.web.za. Once you put in that information, you will be directed to this website, and you will have your username and password. From here, you will fill in your username with your password, and then you will click on login, and you will be having access to the GoodX web system. Once you're logged in, it should direct you directly to the diary, and here you will see the diary, and you will log in with all the possible functions and options and buttons that you can access from here, and this will be your landing page every time you log in. Please make sure also when you go home you log out. If you just close it with the X at the top, the system will remember your username and password. Okay, but please make sure that you log out, and the next time you log in again with your username and password. Okay, now I'm going to just give you a quick overview of how and what this screen is about, so you can understand what you're looking at and how we're going to use this diary. And remember, this GoodX Web is all centralized around this diary. Everything is about the appointments. If you do not work with appointments like a walk-in practice, then we will just change the view and you will work on first come, first serve. You will just book the patients. It will be a list at the end of the day. It's very important to understand the diary is not just making appointments, but it's also a tool so I can see how many patients that I see for the day. So if I go back to yesterday on this, I should see 5 patients, 10 patients, 30 patients, depending on what type of practice you might be. The type of disciplines, GPs typically will use your diaries for booking specific patients, our dentists, physios, all those doing consultations, even for our specialists. Our walk-in practices like GPs and others, we will just book the patient, so we have a list to see all of them and compare it back to have control, so I can see how many patients I've seen for the day, and did we charge all those patients, and did they pay before they walk out of the practice. Okay, so let me just quickly explain the screen that you're looking at this moment. You will see here at the top, there's the diary, there's a little bit of a menu bar here, there's our data, our reports, our tasks, our theatre list and admin. Those are the important ones to understand a bit later during the course of the day. And then here will be a drop down box of the actual treating providers or the doctors that is currently part of your practice. So you can be 5 GPs and 2 dentists depending on how it's set up, and when you're a group practice or a single type of practice. And here you will jump between the different doctors' diaries. Please make sure that if there is more than one practitioner in your practice, that GoodX is aware of it, so we can set up the diaries accordingly. If you have 5 GPs, there should be 5 diaries. If you work in a practice where we more work with room structures or service centers, yes, we can set it up also like that. That there's one service center with different area, and there could be 5 doctors on that service center. But we need to understand from you as a practice how you are going to operate on your diary. Do you want 3 different types of diaries? Do you want one diary with multiple doctors on that diary? We are very customizable, and we can change it as we go along. If you are a practice that does not work with bookings at all, the purpose is then we need to look at our render policy, and that's why we can make provision for any type of practice end of the day. If you do not care about bookings, patients just walk in for whatever treatment they receive, or tests or scans or whatever you might be doing, we will set up your diary that we work by stacked by time or type. So it means it's just a list for the patients of the day. You will see your screen will change to just 3 patients on the list. The purpose of this is to see I've seen 7 patients for the day, and there should be 7 patients on this list. This is your control, so that we can confirm that my doctor or a treating provider or whoever is doing the treatment in that sense will have access to see that I have 7 patients for the day, and there should be 7 on the list. From here, it's easy to control this. I can quickly say whether it's been booked, it's been billed, has the claim gone through to the medical aid, and I can see a lot of information as quickly as possible. And the same principle is, if I go back to yesterday, I should be able to quickly pick up on yesterday what happened on yesterday, how many patients have I seen, and what is the current status of that patient as I'm looking at it. And as you just seen, to move on this diary, you will use here in the middle your arrows to go to the next day, the next day, the next day, or I will click on now to bring me back to today, or I can click on my calendar to jump to any specific date. So if you do not work on appointments, it does not matter. The idea is if a patient walks in that door, they must be loaded onto the system, and we still do this by doing a booking. And here on the right hand side, you will see new bookings. So if I work on this principle with no specific appointments, I will just use the new booking function and quickly load this patient onto this list. Once the patient's on the list, I can open the file. Once the file is open, I can get the information from the medical aid, and then I can start billing the patient, send a claim to the medical aid, or if it's a cash or private patient, bill the patient, immediately give him a statement, and take the payment from the patient, whether it's cash or card. So first of all, you must be able to change to the different treating providers or service centers where you're working. Your display options is here just showing you that I can show all my active bookings or my tasks. I will explain this a bit later further. Here is a search function on that day. So if you're looking for a specific patient on a specific date, on today's list, you can quickly find that patient by using that search. This is your calendar. For the now button and your little arrows to move to yesterday or to tomorrow, and then we have a refresh button just to quickly refresh the screen. Diary types, here you actually have the option to see multiple treating providers on the same diaries or multiple dates. So if I do go to multiple day view, I can see 7 days in the future from today for this type of doctor or provider. So I can see how many patients they've seen in a certain time frame, or I can go to the multi-diary view and I can see the different treating providers. So you can have 3 doctors or 3 dentists, and you will see all of them next to one another if you have a bigger practice where there's more providers available for this. Okay, so then I just change this back from my diary, type that to diary, and that will be on today's diary. That's my current diary for here. And then the render policy, if you see now, I will set this stack by time. So this means the first patient that walked in will be at the top, the second one, then the third one, then the fourth one. If you want to see different stack by type or status, I will explain this scenarios also a bit more later in detail. Typically the type is the type of patient I'm dealing with, like the emergency or the consultation. That's a type of patient. Or then I will have the status, that's where is the current patient in your practice. You see, booked, arrived, ready, treated, paid. So there's different statuses also, and if you change these types, it will arrange it according to that type or status. So if I use the type, all the emergencies will be together, all the consultations will be together, all the new patients will be together depending on your types. When I change this to status, then all your arrived patients will be together, all your ready patients will be together, and all your treated patients will be together on the list. Just depends on how you're going to use this diary and what your view will be. If you're not working with bookings, we're not going to work with the overlap and the stacked 2 options at the top. We'll be only use the stacked options here at the bottom. Then there will be a few other buttons here as well. That's my new booking there, and here is just a search function on your codes, on your ICD-10s, and your products. It will just help you quickly search up certain coding if you're not sure what it is. There's the printing option of the diary, so here you can print out the diary out at any time frame, and you can also export it into a CSV if you want to send it maybe to someone else in that sense. There is my search option. Now obviously this is an important one. If you do have bookings in the future or in the back and backwards, then you can quickly search for a patient here when they were booked to view that information. And this one here will just show you available times, but if you're not using booking on time frames, you'll not be using that option then. Okay, here just at the top we will have your different entities. So if you are a GP or a dentist or a specialist or an anesthetist or a technician, your diary will here, and with other diaries this will be your username that is currently logged in, and there will be your settings if you need to go and change any settings in the future, and there's the about. Now what is nice about this one as well, if you go into the about, there's also your user manuals that you can also view from here. If you're not in the learning center, you can also access the video tutorials via the system from here. Just close, and I am back here. So under diary, and remember I talk about the diary, but if you do not work on an appointment structure, it's first come first serve. We will set the system up so it's in a stack view, and then it's just about loading your list for the day. And that is what is important. It's a controlling tool at the end of the day to make sure that I can compare the actual patients that came in for the day is on my system. And I can then view it from here and manage my patients from here. Okay, so now we can start with the actual training. So let's just give it a quick 5 minutes so we can just get everything into place and give you a quick break. If there's anything you want to ask, now is a good time to maybe quickly ask a question.